Welcome to All Things Real Estate with Rochelle. I'm your host, Rochelle Houghton, and I have a very special guest with me in studio today, Malcolm Lawson with Real Broker. Malcolm is a growth ambassador and content creator. Malcolm currently hosts a YouTube channel, Next Gen Agents. He is an 11-year Air Force veteran. Thank you so much. Such a privilege to interview you, and thank you for your service, sir. Great to see you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. I love doing this and, I applaud you for creating content and starting a podcast like this and taking action on it. And I'll be super excited to talk to you today.
Well, I have to admit firsthand, you're my inspiration. I've been following you
Oh,
for a
good.
very, very long time. Love your content, and you're the reason I'm here today.
Oh, that's great. Happy I can help.
So, you have held high profile positions in the military. I spoke briefly in your introduction. You've worked in roles in the White House and also within it. So, you went from serving in the Air Force, including those assignments, to military to massive recruiter. What brought you into those roles, and what do you think is the most important of those roles that you've served in that help you today?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. So I joined the Air Force and, when I was 20 years old, I was stationed in Japan working at the NSA, and having a lot of fun with it. And I did 11 years in the Air Force total. The last 4 years, I worked at the White House. And I worked mostly under Obama and Biden. I got to meet both of them, got to travel around the world with them, served a little under Trump's first administration as well. I got to meet him while I was there. And while I was at that assignment, I had my son was born in 2015. He unfortunately has very severe intellectual disabilities and autism. And with that assignment, I traveled a lot. Like I'd be gone for 2 weeks, I'd come back for a few days, leave again. And so it was very stressful on my wife, being at home with their newborn kid who has these disabilities. So I was like, okay, as much as I love being in the military, as much as fun I'm having, like, I think I need to get out, need to find a job with just more flexibility. And that's kind of how I landed on real estate. So I got my real estate license for my last year that I was in the military, sold, I think 6 homes that first year as a part time agent. And then 2017, I got out, got right into real estate. And within, I think, my third year as a real estate agent, I was selling 30 homes a year. And I was really happy with that. Like I had zero business experience, zero sales experience, anything like that. But I was pretty proud that, I was able to build a successful business in real estate. Then in 2021, I had my divorce. And then I found myself a single parent to a child with, pretty severe intellectual disabilities and autism. And that's actually when I first joined Real. So I joined Real about a month after my divorce. And really what brought me over was I just had a lot of friends come over. It's really that community. It was the agents, is Brad McCallan, is Tim Macy, Katie Day. I knew all these agents, Bob Tompkins before Real. They all came over 2020, 2021. I was like, okay, like I like this community and I came over for the people. What I quickly discovered though is being a single dad and running a real estate business is very, very challenging. And I just really just couldn't figure out a good system. I had babysitters lined up. And as you probably know, like trying to find a reliable babysitter is incredibly hard. And I was just losing clients left and right because I'd be like, I can't show you properties until Saturday when I'm kid free. And so that's when I really was like, okay, well, Real has this other stream of income available to everybody at the company where you can attract agents to the company and earn passive income off of that. So 2021, I was like, okay, well, I have years of experience on YouTube. I have been a YouTuber for over 10 years just for fun on a couple of different channels. And I was like, well, how about I start creating content around Real on YouTube? Started doing that in 2021 and that kind of blew up. And now I've personally recruited more agents to this company than anybody else in the company. Got a network, a little over 1,000 agents. I've got a full-time income from revenue share. And the great thing is, like, I actually don't really like working with clients. I don't like that side of things. What I really like is the marketing side, the content creation side. And I literally just get to do that all day long. That's what I do. That's my full-time job now. Just create content, talk to agents, support agents. And I've kind of carved out a pretty nice little niche for myself. And I'm incredibly grateful for Real for giving me this opportunity and being such an amazing company.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you joined in 2021, and I think there was about 2,000 real
Mhm.
agents at that time. And you've grown it to what it is today. I think the most recent statistics I've heard is we are at over 33,000 now. What do you attribute that to? Tell me a bit about that journey, growing your uh, agents with you, sponsoring these agents.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. Like, what can we attribute Real's growth to? From 2,000 agents, 3,000 agents in about 5 years, like that's phenomenal. And a big, big part of it is just the culture and the community. That actually is a really big part of what attracts people to the company in the first place. It's these different personalities that we have at this company and how willing they are just to share their information and help each other out. Like that is what's going to get people to join, but also stay in the company as well. And then I think Real's approach to technology is huge as well. We are one of the few brokerages that actually builds our own technology from scratch, and I'm actually kind of blown away by like the vision for our technology. Like Tamir and Pratesh, they just come up with some really unique and really valuable tech that they're building from scratch that nobody else has in this industry. The Real Wallet, I think, is such a great idea. It's so cool. It's given us agents these financial tools to help manage our businesses and make Real even more affordable for us. And like nobody else has come up with that idea before, which is pretty surprising. What they're doing with Leo AI is absolutely amazing. And we get access to all this technology for free. It's completely just included. And I think the technology is also another major attractor and why this company's growing so quick and just dominating.
What are your thoughts on the most recent technology launch with Haleo for clients? What are your thoughts with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like again, that's technology that nobody else in the industry has. Not just other real estate brokerages, but nobody else, no Redfin or Zillow or anybody has anything like that. And so they're building this completely unique tech, which is so cool. And I think that is absolutely the future of the industry. And so he's kind of planting these seeds. And he said before that in the very near future, we are actually going to prefer speaking to AI, avatars and agents rather than having to bother a real human being. Like this is just the direction that things are going in. And so like the Hey Leo portal, it makes so much sense. Like this is absolutely how we are going to buy homes in the future. And I love that we're pioneering this and innovating and doing stuff that nobody else has. I've also heard Tamir talk about how if we don't innovate in this industry, there's going to be a third party company that's going to innovate for us and try to take over our industry and try to push the agent out of the industry. That's effectively what Zillow's trying to do. That's effectively what Redfin was trying to do. And that's why it's so critical for brokerages to innovate and be the ones that actually are creating these new tech products, and not allowing third party companies to come in and do that innovation for us.
I was really blown away at the Rise convention when they premiered Haleo, and they introduced it. It was so much like talking to a real person. It was such a unique experience. I was blown away by that. I'm super excited to use that and that this company is so agent forward in thinking of those things for us. With your YouTube channel, you have produced several different YouTube channels. What's your most viral video that you've produced on there?
So I've got, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about my YouTube history. So I originally, when I was in the military, I started this kind of like an outdoor and emergency preparedness channel called Survival Know How. And I took a very practical approach to, emergency preparedness for like winter storms and stuff like that. And I've got several videos that have over 1 million views. I think my biggest video is about 2 million views on that YouTube channel. The channel's up to 200,000 subscribers. So I think my most popular video in there was like 10 survival items you can buy in the dollar store, something
Oh,
like that. And then I had a real estate channel for a long time. That's what I was focused on. And I think my most popular video in that one is just under 1 million views. And it was 10 hacks to pay your mortgage off early. So that video is done really well. And then, yeah, really my on my next gen agent channel, my real broker channel, my most popular videos are really just explaining the real broker model, just educating people on, hey, this is how the model works. This is the benefits. These are the cost and fees. These are the different perks. And I've put a lot of time and energy into those videos. And actually, a lot of agents at Real share my videos. Like this is what they use for agent attraction. They send people my content. So yeah, just my real broker explain videos, is explaining all the benefits and what the model looks like. That's probably my most popular on that channel.
I will have to say that I have shared many of your videos to, people that are reaching out wanting to know a little bit more about Real Broker. You break it down so well. And I will also say that you, in one of your videos, you said, I challenge everyone, if you're with Real Broker, to make a content creation of the slide deck. And I did that because you mentioned that in your video. Those are so powerful. You can literally, even if you don't have a lot of people on your YouTube channel, it's so easy to take that link and send it to a prospect who wants to know more about Real Broker. Do you utilize that a lot in that way?
Yeah, I send my videos out all the time. I see my videos as tools that I can use to increase conversion, and I try to get people to watch videos as soon as I can. I remember I read in a book one time. This guy came up with this concept of is like the influence ladder, and it's like how influential different forms of communication are. Like at the very bottom is like mass marketing, like running ads is like a very low form. Sending an email is like a step above that. You're targeting somebody. A text message is more influential than an email, but a video message is more influential than a text message. A phone call is more influential than that. And then really the most like influential thing is like a video call with somebody. But the point being like is that you want to constantly try to go up this ladder of influential communication, and video is just so much more influential. So if you could send somebody the generic real slide deck to educate them, they're still going to have a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of loss. Going to be a lot of information. If you can send them a video of you explaining the slide deck and all the different perks and all the benefits that we get here and giving your own commentary on that, that is so much more influential and so much more powerful than just sending them a text with like a link to a generic slide deck. So
Sure.
I'm big fan of videos and big fan of like everybody should be creating content and using these as tools in our businesses, no matter what your business is.
Yeah. And I think when you do create that to the viewer or the listener, whether they're, watching the YouTube channel or maybe even listening to it, they get a real impression of how you feel about the company, your tone, your excitement on it. And I think that personal application of that is super vital to that success as well. You have interviewed so many people. Um, Tamir Polik, what is he like?
Yeah, he's a very kind person. Like that's actually the very first thing that kind of pops in my mind is that he's very kind, and you can see this in his interviews. You can see this in his presentations. Like kindness is actually really, really important to him. He's also, he's a bit of an introvert, and I actually kind of am as well. And he's very very logical person, very tactical person. I love that I can have very deep conversations with him on different topics, finances or AI or the industry. And he's just very like professional. Yeah, and surprisingly, he's also like a visionary, and he's very good at like analyzing like where we're at right now. Where are we going to be in 5 years? This is where we've gone this far in the last 10 years, 5 years. What is the industry going to look like? We want to build technology for 5 years from now, not today. And I love that vision. And I'm just constantly blown away by it. And I want to give Pratesh a lot of credit as well. It's Tamir and Pratesh combined. They've just come up with some amazing ideas and innovations and some amazing implications and technology.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier we have over 130 engineers under Pratesh is the CTO, the chief technical officer, over 130 engineers building things from scratch. Are there any upcoming surprises that you know about, or what is your favorite technology so far?
I think really the latest version of Haleo, the talking version of Haleo is amazing. Like this is just the coolest thing. I use it for support all the time. When I have conversations with agents and they're interested in Real, I like to pull it up and like, hey, what questions do you have about Real? Let me ask Haleo and I'll show you how easy it is to get this. And now that we get broker level support as well from Haleo, that's also pretty amazing. And so as far as technology that's coming up that I'm really excited about, one is going to be the Haleo portals that all agents are getting. We are expanding that right now, getting into all the MLSs right now as we speak. And what their plan is that we're going to be able to actually train our own version of Leo. We're all going to get our own AI assistants that we can train on what our office hours are, what our preferred lender is, these types of things. We can even train it in our own voices as well. And
Yeah.
we can give this phone number. We're all going to get a phone number that we can have our clients text or call to, get support and get answers from our AI assistant. Like that's going to be amazing. And then getting our own search portals as well is going to be really cool. So I'm really excited about Haleo. So it's also going to come with their AI CRM, their AI ARM is what they're calling it, where you can have the conversations, look at all the different conversations that Leo's having with our clients. The other really cool thing is that they're coming out with more companions. So Leo, the main AI has Leo broker support and then Leo just general support. These are two different companions. They're coming out with my understanding is they're coming out with like a marketing companion that can create marketing pieces for us automatically. They may come out with a like contract writing companion. They can actually write your contracts for you as well. So currently Leo can actually review your contracts and tell you, hey, you missed a signature on this page. This field usually needs to be filled out, kind of give you these insights. And that's how we're training Leo on our contracts and on the different forms. Ultimately, they want it to be able to write the contract for you. So you just have to review the contract afterwards. So these different companions, I think, again, super unique. Like nobody has that. And it would take somebody 3, 4 years to build what we have. And like we have such a head start because nobody else is even trying to do this kind of stuff.
It was such a unique concept to come up with. Even when they were premiering it at the Rise convention, I was blown away at how human-like it was, and you can clone your own voice, and it could sound like you. My first thought was, I don't know if I wanna do that because I don't know if my client would know it's not me.
Right.
It was fascinating, and I love the aspect of it too, that it's migrating all that information and keeping the information for you. You know, a lot of times when you're talking with clients, basically relying on your own memory sometimes, you don't notate everything that maybe you should or you missed something, but relying so much on your own memory, and that's migrating all that information and keeping it for you. That's truly a remarkable concept for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think what's really amazing is that we're getting this for free. So, but there are somewhat similar services that you can have, right? There are like AI assistants that can like have like a call center, an AI call center people can call in, or AI texting bots. And they literally cost hundreds of dollars a month if you want one of these different services. And so they're giving us this thing that's worth hundreds of dollars a month completely for free, and it's fully customizable and integrated with our search portal. I don't know of any AI that is integrated with the search portal, and it's just going to be integrated with Reason. It's absolutely amazing, and I love that they're giving it away for free to everybody here at the company. That's going to be pretty cool.
Speaking of reason, that was one of the first things, obviously that you start using when you sign on with Real Broker. And that is such a prolific app. I mean, you do everything. You upload your contracts, somebody's looking at it. You can create your marketing content. You can take a class. You can do so many things from there. Real Broker is currently the fastest growing cloud brokerage. Why do you think that is? What's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's the technology is a huge, huge draw, and I think more and more people are realizing that. The culture and the community, of course, is really powerful. I think we got really great marketing and branding here at Real as well. The tools and services that we provide to agents, the different streams of income is also a huge incentive for a lot of people. If somebody comes to Real and they hit elite agent, and if they get the full $24,000 in free stock, that is actually more in free stock than they pay in their cap and fees to hit elite agent. It's about $4,000 more. But literally, like you can come here and earn everything back and not pay anything to run your business here. In fact, you're getting paid to run your business here. I mean, that's incredibly like attractive to so many people. And I think, cloud brokerages are just the future of the industry. It's the writing is on the wall. I think more and more people are realizing that every day. And as we showcase how great this technology is, as our culture, community, as we showcase all this, more people are going to realize, like, man, I don't get any of that stuff at my current brokerage. My last brokerage, when I left them, like for me to figure out just simple things like how close am I to capping? I'd have to email the team leader. The team leader would have to look it up in a spreadsheet. I have to wait for her to email it back. Now, I can just look at my phone, see how close you are to hitting elite agent or capping or any of these things. Like there's literally still brokerages that are operating off of spreadsheets today. That's a very real thing.
It is.
Um, yeah, which is wild. And I think our technology just makes everything so much more efficient, having everything in one platform like Rezen, not having to have 5 different logins for 5 different accounts. Like that's incredibly attractive for people as well. I think Real just simplifies agents' businesses. We got a great community, great technology, great training, great culture. And it's a big part of like the limiting factor is just of our growth is just educating agents. Like once they realize, like, oh man, this is so much better on every front, then they slowly like start changing their minds and are more open to real.
Yeah. What do you think is the most common misconception that people might have about
Yeah.
joining Room?
I think the biggest misconception for about the agents have about real is just the community that we have here. A lot of people feel that if you're at a cloud brokerage, you're not going to have a local community. They want an office, they want to go and socialize and talk to people. And the truth is, like, I feel more connected with the community here at Real than I ever did at my brick and mortar office. Like, that is the truth. And I think we have more collaboration. You know, you and I are collaborating right now. And like, this is common here at Real. Agents do this. We collaborate, we connect. I think, you know, one of the things I love the most is just the different masterminds that we have every week. We have 25 to 30 different masterminds every week, and you can find your tribe. If you're into video marketing, go to the Real Estate Video Blueprint Mastermind every Monday. If you're into running teams, you go to Eric Hatch's CEO Connect every Monday. But Trey Sorrento's got a great one. Dustin Brom's got a great one. Clayton Gitz has got a great one, right? We have all these different communities, and you can find your tribe here and connect with them every single week in video calls just like this. You can connect with them on WorkVivo, on Instagram. And I think that is the biggest misconception, that people feel like they're going to be lonely and on an island somewhere. And it's not that case at all. I feel more connected at Real with the community and the agents than I ever did at a brick and mortar office.
I've been blown away by the collaboration. I mean, here I am in Billings, Montana, talking to you from Maryland. And, I have to honestly say, no matter who I've ever reached out to for any type of collaboration, they've been open to it. So I
Mhm.
literally messaged you on Facebook and you answered. And so, such a collaborating, kind culture that we have here. You've worked for a different brokerage. I've worked for different brokerages as well. Most of the time, that industry gold is kept under a very tight lid. One of the things that I appreciate the most with Real Broker is that everything is on the table. Everybody wants everybody else to succeed because we are one real. My success attributes to other people's success within, our network. And I love that we're not silos or downlines, that
Mhm.
we're all connected. I love that.
And I think contributes to that. But I think it's really interesting. Like, I think that we got great people here. We're attracting the right kind of people that are focused on collaboration as part of our culture. But it's also the fact that we are all owners in this company. We have ownership in Real. Tamir says about 20% of Real stock is owned by the agents. And I think that creates such a different dynamic than if you're working at a brick and mortar brokerage where all this hard work is just going towards the top. It's going towards the broker owner of that brokerage. Here, like, we have ownership. There's actually an incentive for us to collaborate and share and help each other out. And I think that psychologically just really helps people give up their time, because every time, there's a saying, every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Right. So, like, I could be doing something else with my time. You could be doing something else with your time. But like, we're owners, both owners in this company. We want to see this company grow. We want to help each other out. We want to, you know, and I think that incentive like really helps foster amazing culture, amazing community, and really amazing training here at Real.
Mhm. What advice would you give to a new agent looking to join Real?
Yeah. So, what advice would I give to a new agent looking to join Real? So, honestly, so if you're brand new, I would find somebody local to be your sponsor. And with Real, you can actually name two people as your sponsor, which is great. But a lot of times, if I have somebody reaching out to me, if they are a new agent, I tell them like, "Hey, man, I'd be happy to be your sponsor, and I can be a level of support for you. But I also would love to find somebody local in your market that will also be your sponsor, that you can go and have coffee with, you can sit down with every now and then, that are as familiar with your MLS, familiar with your contract, your association of realtors, and they can answer those hyper specific questions I may not be able to answer." And
Mhm.
so for somebody that's new, I would say find someone local in your market that can be a sponsor or a co-sponsor for you, just to kind of help you get tapped into that
Yeah.
community and get some additional local support.
Hopping into that just a little bit as well. One thing that I love about Real Broker as well, I'm a mentor within my state. And so sometimes the newer agents that are coming on, they connect with you in that capacity and it really opens up the opportunities for growth and success for newer agents that are coming on. And I love that Real Broker has that mentorship program as well. Content creation. Do you feel like that is probably one of the most important things? So many agents, myself included, you think about content creation and it Makes you a little nervous to get out there, put yourself out there like that. Do you feel content is important?
Creating content. I think it's possible to run your business without creating content, but it certainly helps. And, content can generate leads. That is definitely one of the values of it. But even if you take that out of the equation, right? Assume you're going to create content, it's not going to generate any leads. What it can still do is help with lead conversion. It absolutely will. It'll help build relationships, build your credibility, build trust with your clients as well. If and I think like this is the new currency of credibility today is content. It's a lot of C's there. Content is the new currency of credibility. As in, if I'm trying to find an agent to help me buy a home, if this agent here says, "Oh, I'm the number one agent in my market and I've sold, 50 homes," well, this agent here has 10 YouTube videos breaking down everything I need to know about moving to this city. I'm gonna be like, that guy is the subject matter expert on this city. It's instant credibility. And I've already built that relationship with him. And I feel more connected with him. I trust him more because I've seen these videos. And it's just so, so powerful. And it's something psychological. It's like when we see somebody's eyes, we see their mannerisms, their facial expressions, their movements, we hear their voice, we connect with them on such a deeper, deeper level than just a static photo and like a text or email or something. Like that's
Mhm.
the real power behind it. So I think everybody should create some type of content. Even if it's just a quick, hey, this is me, this is how I run my business, how I got into real estate, or this is my full buyer's consultation. This is what I how I help people buy homes, or this is my listing presentation, or like this is how I market my listings, kind of breaking that down. Even if you just have them up on your website, you can use these as tools to send to people to increase your lead conversion. So if you have somebody interested in selling their house, say, hey, great. I want to share my video 10 things to do to prepare your home to sell, and my video how I market my homes to sell above market value, breaking
Mhm.
down the entire market strategy. Like those two videos would absolutely increase your conversion of those seller leads. And same thing with buyers. I think everybody should have videos talking about the cities that they move to or that they cover, just so that they can send these videos to potential buyers, help educate them, help them make the decision, but also increase your lead conversion rate, build rapport, give you credibility, all of those. It's a very, very powerful tool. Even if it doesn't generate leads for you, like it's still very valuable to create videos like that.
On a personal level, you are a single dad to an autistic son, and you have spoken in some of your videos that he is your why. And that is so incredibly powerful. You mentioned that Real has provided you with this opportunity to be a full time dad to your son. How has Real Broker done that for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got out of the military because of my son. I loved being in the military. I was having so much fun. And I got out because of my son. I needed to be there more for him. I wanted more control over my time with him. And now, trying to be a real estate agent with him is obviously very difficult, but he is definitely my big why. And with the agent attraction side of things, when Real announced that our rev share will be willable, that if something happened to me, my son would continue to get money coming into a trust that I have set up for him. Like that gives me so much peace of mind, just knowing that he would be taken care of and, have the financial resources to provide for him. And he's absolutely my biggest why. I'm at a place now where I could easily take my foot off the gas pedal and just kind of cruise and just kind of, lollygag, I guess. But I've got a big why, and I'm not done. I didn't come this far to only come this far. I
Mhm.
still got my foot down on the gas pedal. I'm still giving it everything I can. I want to keep growing. I'm at 1,000 agents right now. I want to get that to 2,000 agents, 3,000 agents. And can I do that over the next 5 years? Yeah, probably. And yeah, and I really do credit Real a lot for giving me this opportunity. Like, I don't think I would have had this opportunity anywhere else. Definitely not at my old brokerage. Definitely not at other brokerages that are really not growing. And yeah, Real's incredibly generous. With the rev share and everything. And I'm just very grateful for them for that.
So, looking ahead a little bit, you've grown teams, content, and you are so influential in this industry in a very, very big way. What is your next big goal for Malcolm Lawson?
Yeah, that is a great question. Um, and I have struggled with this, honestly, because, Alex Hormozy says, like, one of the curses of an entrepreneur is that they have some success in a business and then they want to move on to the next business and the next one and they want to start 3, 4 businesses. And I've done this. I've fallen into that trap of trying to spread myself too thin, start too many businesses and had too many projects. One of the things I did, which was kind of a fun project, but really time consuming, is I have a website, livinginmaryland.com, and I wanted to generate leads through content creation. And what I did was worked with a virtual assistant and HeyGen to make a YouTube video for every single city in the state of Maryland. So it's like 240 some cities in Maryland, as well as a detailed article with images and links for every single city in the state of Maryland. I did this and I created this. The plan was I'm going to generate leads and I'm going to refer them out and have this big referral business. And I started doing it. And then, I quickly realized that the bottleneck for that business is finding good agents to refer these leads to who will follow up with them. And I quickly realized, like, man, I kind of hate managing agents. And I spent so much time working on this business. And I had the realization one day that, like, if I would have put all that time into real broker content instead, I could have put out 2, 3 times as much content and I could have doubled down on this one business. And Alex Hormozy has this saying that I think it calls this the 111 rule. He allows his clients or students to get one business for one avatar until they make $1 million a year. And I was like, yeah, why don't I just double down on what I'm doing until I get to $1 million a year rather than trying to start 2 or 3 other businesses and trying to grow each of them to 100 grand a year. I do, what's next for me? I don't know. But right now I've kind of got that focus that I just want to create content about Real. I want to help this company grow. I want to help Real grow to 100,000 agents. Like that's kind of the big milestone. I think we can hit that in easily the next like 3 years. And so yeah, right now this is what I'm focused on. And I don't know what's next for me after that. We'll see. I love content creation. I love digital marketing. So it's definitely going to be something, in that line.
What's the biggest legacy that you want to leave people to remember you by in the real estate industry, in life as a dad? What does your legacy goal look like?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. I've got like 5 nieces and nephews, and I try to have family game nights at my house, monthly. I have both my brother's families come over, try to get my nieces and nephews over. I want them to have a good relationship with my son, and it's good for him to have kids around like that. And so really I think about them and like I want to set a good, be a good role model for them and set an example. And they tell me that they consider me that. And so I'm not really worried about my legacy in the real estate industry or what agents think about, but really it's like these 5 nieces and nephews, I want to set good examples for them. And, someday like, the kind of the more pessimistic route of looking at this is like someday I'm going to be gone and my son is still going to be around and he's still going to be alive. And my nieces and nephews, I want them to have a good relationship with them. So I kind of try to be the best uncle that I can to my family, best, member of my family that I can be, just so that to kind of inspire them, I guess, and be a good role model for them. That's probably what's most important for me.
I love that. So, what's next up on your calendar as far as your business? What's your next convention that you're going to?
Yeah, the real estate video blueprint in April down in Nashville, Tennessee with Katie Day and Tim Macy. I'm going to go to that one this year. I did not go last year because my birthday is April 7th. So last year I went to Nepal for 2 weeks and rode motorcycles for my 40th birthday. So I couldn't make it last year. And then I spoke at it the year before. But this year I'm going to go and just be in the crowd. And I'm going to bring a lot of the camera equipment and I'm hoping to film a lot of interviews, a lot of top producing agents and influential agents and just, cool agents down there that like to focus on content creation. When I went to the Rise event, I brought a whole suitcase full of 3 different cameras, 2 different lights, mics, backup mics, tripods, C-stands, everything. And I was able to film 7 interviews while I was at the Rise event, including the one with Pratesh and a bunch of other agents down there. And so I'm going to try to do the same thing and film some more in-person interviews while I'm down there at the RevP convention.
If you had your top 3 interviews, what would be your top 3?
Oh, I'd love to interview Sharon again.
Mhm.
I've interviewed him before when he first joined Real as the president of Real. I love to kind of pick his brain about, what it's like over at acquisition.com, working with Alex Hormozy. Yeah, I don't know who my top 3 would be. I mean, Alex Ramosi would be amazing. I'd love to interview him and pick his brain. He's just a really fascinating guy. And then, yeah, I'm sure I'll interview Tamir again at some point, and I love to talk to him more about his vision for the future of the real estate industry and where this industry is going.
I will have to say, watching Sharon, he is, well, everybody at Real is so highly intellectual. Sharon is so fast talking and so fast thinking. You can tell very vividly that he is always in that process of thinking of the next avenue that he's going to go down. And I love that all of them are so focused on agent positive experiences and developing the company to benefit the agents that are involved. And you don't see that often. And I truly value that.
Yeah.
So to close out our interview today, what would you like to leave us with?
I would just say, like, I think the next 5 years are gonna be very, very exciting for the real estate industry. I think that, cloud brokerages are absolutely the future of the industry. Like, it's inevitable. You look at the numbers, the growth, the value that they provide to agents, and I think it's gonna be very exciting. I think AI is gonna influence every industry at a very large scale, and I love being at a company where we're pioneering what AI is gonna look like in the real estate industry like no one else. And I think the last 5 years has been a really exciting ride for me, and I think the next 5 years is gonna be equally as exciting for real.
I would like to thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such an honor and a privilege to interview you, to chat with you here. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your time.
Of course, yeah, thank you so much for having me on today.